Howdy, and welcome to another edition of the Beat San Francisco. I'm your host, Eric West, and as you notice, this is another vidcast. Technology is such a wonderful thing. Allison and I sat down to do a show yesterday, and we actually did the show. I was having problems with Audacity, so I decided let's just do it straight into the iPod. I got this little Belkin piece that we can actually do into the iPod, and I tested it for like 3-4 minutes and went and made sure that all worked out, and it worked fine. And then we went and we recorded the show, and it was saying we were recording 43 minutes, 47, 48 minutes. Perfect. I'm like, perfect. 48 minutes. Allison had some kind of a small emergency, and she had to run. So I closed out the show and put it to record and set it aside for a minute and went and took care of a few things and then came back to listen to see what it sounded like. Well, it was 48 minutes of complete silence. Anyway, so I decided, let me do this. Let me just do a wrap-up of what we actually talked about. And it's in my head well enough that we can talk about it again next week. And maybe even do it a little bit more justice, because it was a rambler show again. But we actually we stayed on track for the most part. We kind of talked about domestic violence in and amongst gay and lesbian circles, and how those percentages tend to be per capita the exact same as heterosexual circles. We talked about suicide and how one of the things that Corky Miniola mentioned this week in his podcast is that we have probably one of the most beautiful symbols in the world that has one of the worst reputations as far as suicide goes. As he said, it's in his logo. It's also in my logo. It's the Golden Gate Bridge. And the number of people who've died jumping from that bridge and other things like that. You notice the mic is right here, and I'm hoping it sounds decent. I didn't want the mic right in front of me, and because I think off to the side it's okay. Hopefully it won't be too much of a I don't know. One day I'm actually going to have a nice background and something to actually look at that's decent. But one of these days, actually, I think Allison and I are going to do a cast. A vidcast, I mean, not just a podcast. But we kept on topic, and we were talking about some of the friends that we have that are going through some things. And then today, I decided I've got to do this because I'm not going to leave you stranded with nothing. But I got a call from my mother telling me that the condo complex that I had lived in for the past 15 years, in particular the last building that I owned my last condo in that I just sold 2 months ago, just finished selling 2 months ago. It was rented out to people. Burned up yesterday. I mean, completely gutted, 36 units, including the one I owned. The entire 410 building, basically. So I'm a little freaked about that because if I still owned it, I now would be out $1,500 a month. Yes, the insurance would pay for rebuilding it. Yes, the insurance would pay for some of what the tenants have in there. But no, the insurance would not pay for my mortgage payment. Completely because it was a rental unit. And the insurance that you can get on there for a rental unit is a little different than for a unit that you live in, and because of the insurance changed when I moved out and moved over to the city. And it was just one of those situations where it's like, okay, another one of those wow freak out. There's a reason that you moved out of there. There's a reason that this happened. And I don't know what it is, but I just go with it. Excuse me. So after I finish doing this, and it's not going to be a long cast, because I don't want to jump into what next week's show is going to be like and about. I just kind of want to get it out there and get it up and see what comes of it. Oh. But it's been an interesting week. Job-wise, beautiful. Love my new job. It's going to be an excellent job. I've got my first client coming up on the 21st of this month. That should be good. I'm getting all the information together for doing that work for that client, and all the information together that my boss wanted, and building out systems. And I'm having a blast. I mean, this first week was good because I went down to my first client in Sunnyvale, which is pretty far down south. But it was a good thing because my boss lives in San Mateo, and we actually were able to carpool together. I met him in San Mateo, and we carpooled down, and it saved us a lot of time getting to Sunnyvale. But most of my clients are going to be in the city because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up the city, and they want somebody who's here in the city who can hit the client running and always be there for the client, even on a weekend. So that's part of why I'm here. God, I'm talking about me, and I hate talking about me, but just a little about me. Allison and I will, promise you, be back next week. She called me up, and we just got off the phone, and she's like, well, you want me to come over and do it? No. Let me do this. Let me throw this together. Let's see what happens with it, and then we'll go from there. I don't want to waste your time trying to do another 48 minutes today, and my head's not in it, and wow. It's been an interesting week. But for now, I am going to close out by saying, as I always say, it's a life, not a lifestyle. Please go out and live it and be safe. Y'all have a good one now. Bye-bye. Peace.